So, I hope you don't mind me asking this because originally we asked this while we tried to go live, but since it didn't record audio, I figured I'd ask again anyway. How did you break into the How did you break into the business?
Well, I joined the wrestling business about 2002 when I was invited to go to a independent wrestling show in Fort Valley, Georgia, where Rock and Roll Express was featured. About 3 matches in, I recognized a friend from high school who invited me to the back and introduced me to everybody. And he asked me how long was I going to be home for, because I was military at the time. I said, well, I'm stationed here for the next 3 years. So he introduces me to the promoter, which is Mike Money. And they offered me a job. So at that time, since they really didn't know what I'd be good at out there, they had me working security. And then one night, they decided they needed a ring announcer because their people they had working weren't reliable people. And they had a lady wrestler show up that night that they also wanted me to interview. So, started out there, became their regular ring announcer. And eventually worked into management. And then, of course, as things go, Uncle Sam cut me orders at the end of my 3 years and sent me to Virginia. And from there, I went to work and helped out various promotions there. I traveled all over the Eastern Seaboard, working for and running various shows. And we decided to start Stranglehold Wrestling about 2 years ago. It was after roughly 14 years of helping everybody else line their pockets. I decided it was my turn to look out for me.
When you were founding Stranglehold Wrestling, how did you come to the decision that you wanted it to be a deathmatch promotion?
Well, one thing, the fans that I've encountered over the years, they all approach me with ideas, what they would like to see, and, to me that's more valuable than anything because those are people that pay for the ticket, As I'm hearing more and more people scream for hardcore and for blood, and, they're tired of everybody saying, well, old school this and old school that, they weren't convinced anymore, So they came to me and said, this is what we'd like to see, so there you have it. I gave the people what they asked for.
Well, you would think a state like Georgia that was known for having the most pure wrestling would actually want to keep it that way, but...
believe it or not, the wrestling business is circular. Some things that are old in other places are new in other places. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's as you know from last night's events, I sat with Sabu for probably about 3 hours. While he conducted his autograph signing for my friend's promotion, Southern Fried Championship. If Charles, if you're listening, thanks for having me out last night. That was real cool of you. And we talked about, he said ECW never really took off, but they always had a loyal fan base. One that stuck with that particular style of wrestling. And then one thing he pointed out, he's like, he told me that I'm onto something. He's like, you're bringing in guys that aren't used to being seen all over the place, especially in Georgia. He said you're bringing guys, that are known throughout the deathmatch scene outside of Georgia that have adapted to the crowds very well because the crowds have come to me and said, hey, we want to see more Belton Creed, more Terry Houston, more Madman Pondo, more Colt 45, they're asking for me to bring these guys back. Also, Ron Mathis was a hit. They really liked him.
One of my personal favorites.
I've had people suggest up Matt Tremont and Masada. There's a lot of names that are being thrown at me, and to be honest, I can't book them all at the same time, so I'm kind of having to spread them out, as this goes. So I'm actually working on that, and of course I've got guys like Sabu who are like, all right, I'm ready to come back to work. So we actually talked about his return to Stranglehold last night as well. And of course, we also have something that a lot of independent promotions don't have, and that's an actual women's division. We're actually going to see some ladies come down to Georgia that you have not yet seen here. And I've been in negotiations with several, and they know who they are. When the time comes, they will be announced. I am, at this point, working on the opportune time to try to bring them all at once, because I would like to do kind of a women's gauntlet match to start with. It's not something you see every day. Your thoughts?
It sounds great. A lot of
Go ahead. Sorry.
a lot of deathmatch promotions don't have a women's division, so that's definitely a unique hook you got there.
Right. And like I said, previously, I'm bringing in the deathmatch guys that aren't used to being seen around Georgia. The fans like coming to my shows because I offer a different product from the other promoters. Not to take away anything any promotion in my state is doing. For the most part, I think a lot of these guys are doing their best with what they have to work with. And there is a lot of great talent down here. But there is, if the fact remains, in order for me to, offer a different product, I'm not stepping on any toes, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That way I have a roster that's unique to Stranglehold. And of course, there are a handful of Georgia wrestlers I use. I'm sure you've seen me do Wrestle of the Day over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Today's featured wrestler being Iceberg. He is very well known for being a hardcore wrestler, trained by Abdul the Butcher himself. So, he brings a lot to the table. One of my main eventers, I'm proud to say. He never disappoints.
Yeah. So, if you had to choose one promotion to do a interpromotional feud storyline with, what would it be?
Is that nationwide?
Nationwide, any of them. You can choose anything.
Oh, man, that's really tough. I mean, I have expressed interest in the past to JCW. I don't know how far up the ladder it's gotten as far as my
Not very far.
Gotten, but you gentlemen are listening. Feel free to contact me. I would love to do business. Also, I wouldn't sneeze at the idea of working with Combat Zone. I've been to quite a few of their shows in the past when I was stationed in the upper mid-Atlantic towards the Northeast. I did venture to a few of their shows and, meet with some of their guys in the past. So I wouldn't sneeze at them either. It's a really hard choice. It's like going to a buffet with everything looks good and you don't know where to start. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are quite a few promotions out there I'd love to do business with, but those are the if I had to pick nationwide on a national level, I would have to say those are the top two I'm looking at.
Wow. A lot of people wouldn't say JCW because of the bad name the Juggalos have.
Well, here's one. Let me talk about Juggalos for a minute. The Juggalos are a loyal following of the Insane Clown Posse, very loyal following. And my numbers indicate there's over 10,000 loyal Juggalos and Juggalettes here in the great state of Georgia. I mean, bad name or not, let's face it. There are a fan base. They're loyal to not only the Insane Clown Posse, and their associated acts, but as well as our style of wrestling.
I'm not trying to
and
trash Juggalos. I should probably fit that in.
And I can't take away from that. The gatherings always do well.
That they do.
Like I said, if I'm ever able to reach the upper chain of command there at JCW, I have an idea that I think they would find appealing.
I think Kevin Gill is the booker for them. KG.
Yeah, he is. He's very hard to get a hold of, and I haven't received a response from him yet. But I understand he stays very busy, so I'm patient. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he, wanting JCW, he's obviously got a very busy schedule.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Just like I'm sure John Zandig or DJ Hyde would be, well, not so sure about John Zandig. But
right. Zandig, I have reached out to in the past. I would be interested in bringing him in and also doing some cross-promoting with him.
He doesn't have a promotion anymore that I know of. He sold CZW to DJ Hyde in 2009, I believe.
Well, there's also Game Changer Wrestling, from what I understand, is also run by Zandig.
Really?
Yeah, that's the word I'm getting.
I did not know that. I thought it was run by somebody else.
Well, from what I've been told by several of the fans that travel and attend various deathmatch shows around the nation, that Game Changer Wrestling is John Zandig's project.
Wow. Kind of like how Jeff Jarrett, who ran TNA, is now with Global Force Wrestling. Only Global Force Wrestling is a train wreck.
Well, like I said, I don't know much about Game Changer Wrestling other than what I've read and what the fans have told me.
I heard it's great.
But I know Zandig's reputation. Like I said, I have reached out to him and said, hey, let's plan on doing some stuff together in the future.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind having him on this show.
Ideally, what I'd really love to see is a super card somewhere, a location that's accepted by every promotion involved. And if we get everybody to work together, that would be very great.
Wow, that would. I personally would like to see like a G1 Climax, but with death matches. I'm not sure if that could be done.
Like I said, I think it's very possible. I think it could happen. It's just a matter of getting everybody to the table and getting everybody to say, all right, this is what we're going to agree on.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have so many ideas floating around in my head where I could not only make us a lot of money, but it would be something that would gain a lot of attention. Something we could definitely build upon in the future.
Wow. Do you think death matches could ever be successful on a mainstream television show?
If promoted correctly with the right clientele, absolutely.
Basically, not like XPW was.
I think if we can find, people with the right attitude, where we can, per se, film it, edit it, produce it, and put it on television. If we find a TV station that'll play ball with us, definitely so.
Yeah, it's.
Like I said, I'm not pointing fingers or trying to get political here, but there's a lot of agendas out there.
Kind of like MTV had Wrestling Society X.
Prevent the edgier stuff from being aired. But I don't think that they're approaching it with an open mind.
Yeah, a lot of because death matches were tried on TV. XPW was on TV for a little while, and it was kind of successful for a little while. But then MTV, after XPW folded, had Wrestling Society X. We all know how bad that failed.
Right. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I think a fresh approach is in order. I think it can happen.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of getting everybody on board.
So, who would you consider your influences in your style of promoting?
Well, like I said, the list is very long. Some of the people that have helped me the most, you got Tony Atlas, you have Jim Cornette. Even though Mr. Cornette and I, we don't always agree on everything, they do believe that I have something, they believe with Stranglehold I have something here,
Yeah, a lot of deathmatch fans hate Jim Cornette because of his criticisms of the use of light tubes and barbed wire.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's funny. On the other hand, Cornette and I have always worked really well together, and he's come to me and said, honestly, the way you're presenting your product, if it's making you the money, if it's getting you what you're looking for, then I say go for it.
Yeah.
And of course, I've dealt with ECW alumni like Sabu, who's offered me his advice. Of course, there's Bill Eadie. Most of the world knows him as Action Demolition. He's been a great influence in my life as well. Guys like Bob Orton, George Steele, they've all offered me great advice. So, like I said, the list is very long. Shane Douglas has offered me his input. On the occasions I've talked with Dreamer, he's given me a lot of great advice. So it's just one of those things. It'd be really hard to pinpoint one person.
Yeah. So, this might be a weird question because I honestly don't know if you have a tag team division in Stranglehold, but
Well, actually, now that you mention it, I have started out with the Deathmatch Junkies, Terry Houston and Colt 45, and I put Ron Mathis together with Belton Creedmoor and calling them the Hounds of Hell. There's also various factions I'm working on. There's one that you will see here in the very near future. They are simply called the Force. They're going to be one for the books. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to give away too much. But just remember those two words, the Force.
okay. Next time I think about it, I'll think about it in Yoda from Star Wars' voice.
Well, yeah, I have got a lot of Star Wars jokes, but I then also have another faction that I intend to bring in where I can run a lengthy feud with, and they're called the Saviors. I will say one of my very own near and dear guys that's helped me out a lot, a gentleman by the name of Leatherface. He's going to be heavily involved with that faction.
Leatherface? Anything like,
Oh, yeah.
Because I know Peter B. Beautiful went by the name of Leatherface when he was in Japan.
Well, this is a different Leatherface. He's held the Leatherface name for a very, very, very long time. So, probably a different way of presenting the character altogether.
Yeah, and well, he'll probably do a better job of getting that gimmick over.
I also have a gentleman known as the Real Unstoppable that will be a member of the Force. So, look for those two guys here in the very near future.
Then I will. So, what do you plan on doing for DVD distribution when you get to that?
Well, like I said, if I can find, and I have been interviewing a few people on that, if I can find an actual good quality film crew, that's when I can put my production plans into effect. But as of right now, a lot of the work that's been submitted to me hasn't been that great.
Yeah.
I need a little bit more. I have one person that's really great. His name is Gavin, but Gavin needs help as well. It's definitely not a one man job.
Yeah.
So once I have a full crew assembled in that category, I think I'll be able to move forward with producing DVDs.
So, before we continue, do you have any plugs you want to get out of the way?
Well, next biggest project I have going on, I will be in Dublin, Georgia, for the Legends Fest. That's the other side of the coin. I do a lot of signings with the Legends. I'll be there with Billy. Demolition Axe. Of course, we'll have every single horseman, with the exception of Ric Flair, there. We will, let's see, Total Protection, Mr. Hughes will be there, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff will be there. Like I said, the flyers are on the Stranglehold page. You guys are more than welcome to go and have a look at that.
I'll definitely share that after I upload this.
That's being run by Dublin Sports Entertainment. I'm there this year as a vendor guest. And of course, I'm going to do my best to help promote this event, make it a success.
Okay, how would you describe your character? If you, I don't know if you even have one.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up. In recent months, I was accused of running one of these shoe pages, with an assumed name. But anybody that's known me for any length of time in the business or as a person knows that I'm very opinionated as who I am. That's why I never adopted a wrestling persona. I never changed my name or used an assumed name. I used the same name that's on my birth certificate, in this capacity. So my character, I'm one of those that's straight to the point and no bullshit.
Just kind of like how Bob Backlund was, just your promoter, and Bob Backlund was Wustle. Actually, I think Bob Backlund did get into promoting or something like that, didn't he? I'll have to look that up.
Well, I'm sure he has to in some categories. But I mean, that's one thing. I have a no-nonsense approach to things. I have my views on things. Some people like it. Some people hate it. There's really no in between. I'm one of those kind of people. You either love me or you hate me, and that's just the way it is.
So, what is the show that you are most proud of having promoted?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I will say Bloodbath was highly successful. All the Legend signings I've done have been great. Royal Blood was really good. Like I said, people are still talking about that. We're almost 2 months, past Royal Blood, and people are still talking about it, and they're ready for the next one. So, I'm being a little bit more meticulous about some things. Because, like I said, I want to make every show a splash, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I also don't like being predictable.
So,
there's a lot of promotions out there, and like I said, I'm not going to mudsling anybody, but they are highly too predictable. And that's why they're losing their fan bases. And that's why the fans come in and say, promotion A is boring as all get out. That's why we stopped going.
Yeah. What would you like to say to the people who are down by the Georgia area and have yet to come to a Stranglehold show? Any words for them?
all I can say is check out Stranglehold Wrestling on Facebook and stay tuned because it's coming. Yeah. Like I said, be there or be square.
Would you like to give any shout outs to local wrestlers around your area or anything like that before we...
Absolutely. Iceberg, much props, brother. I'll see you soon. True, you listen. Danny Horn, Phenom. I'll see you guys soon. Dartmon, looking forward to having you on the show. Marco, same thing. Can't wait to have you on board. And there's a lot of others. If I missed you, you know where I stand, fellas. We've talked. And two ladies especially. Brandy Scott Spaker, much love, babe. Let's do this. Kayla Lynn, I'll see you down the road next show. Keep doing what you're doing, girl. You're doing great. That's as far as Georgia goes.
What if you had to choose a favorite tag team that you have put together yourself? What would it be?
Ooh, like I said, it's tough. Well, I would say, put together myself. Wow. There was a group in West Virginia that was known as Wraith and Giant Demonic. They were really good. And of course, can't take away from Hounds of Hell. Belton Creedmoor and Ron Mathis actually did a hell of a job. Deathmatch Junkies, I didn't put them together myself, but
to my understanding, they were doing it for a while.
But like I said, the teams you're about to see come out of this feud that I'm working on, I'm very proud. I'll be very proud to introduce that to the wrestling world.
Who would you describe as the future of Stranglehold?
Well, like I said, I give a lot of credit to Iceberg. I wouldn't run a show without Madman Pondo either. He definitely brings a lot to the table. All my ladies, they do well. True does very well. Phenom does very well. I'm looking forward to having Marco Polo on board. So yeah, it's really not. I can't really say it's any one person.
Yeah. So, upcoming show. Oh, wait, I've already asked you if you have any plugs. It's tough because I didn't prepare a script of questions. I'm very on the spot. Yikes, Any upcoming tournaments that...
Well, I'm looking at doing one here real soon, just trying to get the venue locked down. That's been my challenge with it because it's an outdoor venue with controlled access, with a lakeside view as well. It's real nice. I want to be able to have it on a day where it'll be good for everybody involved, plus the fans. And on a day that won't be too terribly hot either. But I'll be announcing that soon once I get all the details worked out.
Who would you consider to be the father of deathmatch wrestling in the United States?
Father of deathmatch wrestling? That
Yeah.
would be Gypsy Joe. God rest his soul.
I have yet to. I have not heard about him. I'll definitely look him up after this. What?
Unfortunately, Gypsy passed away here a couple weeks ago.
Damn.
He was in his 80s. Let me tell you, I haven't seen too many people that were crazier than Gypsy Joe. But he's another one, I will also say, gave me a lot of great advice that put me in the position that I'm in now. Yeah, he was one of those guys that, if he talked, you listened.
What did you, wait, do you have anything left to continue on to that, or do we move on to the next question?
Oh, sure, we can continue ahead.
So, when did you first decide that you wanted to be part of the, wrestling business?
Well, like I said, that was probably more 2003, 2004-ish, after I'd, been security at the door and, gone into ring announcing. It was like, I learned a lot of lessons watching the other promoters that I was working for at the time work. I was like, I could do this. And, at the time, I wanted to be more kind of, a collaborating promoter instead of doing my own show. And, that was up until, 2 years ago when I decided to start Stranglehold.
Do you got any advice for people who might want to be breaking into the business as a promoter?
As a promoter, yeah. Number one, sponsors. Reach out to your mom and pop businesses. If you make a promise, you better deliver. Also, to tie into that, if you can't pay for it, don't book it. Please don't do that. Do not, I repeat, do not run a show off of the gate. Do not tell your boys or your girls that you will pay them off the gate. And you wrestlers out there, don't ever work for somebody that does. I'm just being honest, guys and girls.
Big middle finger to all quote-unquote friends at American Championship Wrestling down in Tennessee.
I think that's a little horsefuckery, to put it mildly.
Yeah.
These guys go down there and they put it all out there on the line to be told, I can't pay, or this and that, or the show's canceled. I mean, that's horse shit.
Apparently,
if you advertise the show, number one, you better have the money to pay for it.
Yeah.
A good, true blue wrestling show, whether it's traditional or death match, runs about $5,000. That's a base price I'm gonna put out there for you guys. If you can't have a budget of $5,000 per show, don't run. And for God's sakes, make sure if you're gonna book some of these guys, book the properly trained, professional-looking talent. Don't book these barely trained guys. They're going to go out there and hurt themselves or hurt someone else. I can't say that enough, because our job in the ring is to take care of each other. And that's a fact.
Wow, I'm not sure why I'm saying wow, because I'm actually not surprised by that by that answer. In fact, I agree with it a lot.
I mean, that is one of my biggest pet peeves is, I don't know how many conversations I have with people that say, I want to run a show. Okay, what's your budget? Well, I don't have one. Then don't run a show. No money equals no show. Well, I'm going to do a benefit. Benefit who exactly? That's another thing. Let's talk about benefit shows for a minute while I'm on that while I'm on that subject.
Okay.
If you're going to say this show is to benefit this family, make sure that you take whatever proceeds and you say, all right, and you hand them the money in front of the crowd where the crowd sees it and they know, oh, so-and-so family that the show was for, received the money for promotion A. I know a promoter that did an event for the Special Olympics down in Georgia, and he skipped out the back door with all the payday. None of the wrestlers got paid. And this individual
Feel free to
took all
mention
the
his
money and
name.
ran. What's that?
Feel free to mention him. Jeez, sounds like a dick.
All right, yeah, his name's James Powers. At the time, he had a guy that I respect a lot by the name of Drew Golden as his booker. Well, Drew basically outed him and said, hey, this guy screwed us, screwed the public, screwed the people, took the money and ran. And then, of course, Powers goes, oh, Drew Golden, you're fired, and then tried to, run Drew's name in the dirt.
That's a asshole move, to say the least.
Of course, the boys, being who they are, knows that Drew Golden's word is good as gold when it comes to that stuff. And they know James Powers ain't nothing but fuck.
Yeah. And to the people that are going to get pissed off at me for asking you to mention the person's name, I'm going to quickly tell them that, hey, if somebody's going to do this...
I'll go ahead and squash that here and now. I wouldn't say anything on here that I wouldn't say to these guys' faces.
Yeah, and
And you can bet the farm on that one.
Same here. I'm a very not afraid to get my ass handed to me guy. I actually used to train MMA, so I could hold my own.
Oh, and here's another thing. There's a fine line in actually doing a tribute to one's gimmick and blatantly ripping the person off. Let's talk about this Paul Lee guy for a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that guy puts out is the epitome of horsefuckery. The epitome of it. I mean, he even went as far as to take the old WWF logo and draw a line on it to make it his logo. When it was that obvious. I'm like, for real? Be original, people. That's the other thing, guys and girls. Wrestlers, promoters, managers, etc. Be original. Be yourselves. Come up with something that is unique to you, where when you walk into a place to either run your own show or work for another promoter, you don't have to introduce yourself. They know who you are. Make sure that you are that kind of person. That's one thing that will make you marketable and will make you money. Because I can't stand it.
Neither can I. I've seen some of these gimmicks. There's a guy, I forget his name, well, I'm not a big name dropper, but, if it's just the wing name, I have no problem dropping that. Who blatantly whipped off of Jeff Hardy's gimmick. He had the same clothes. He even got the same tattoos.
If I had $1 for every Hardy guy I saw out there, I could probably retire.
New drinking game. Every time you see somebody who refuses to come up with their own gimmick, take a shot. You'll be dead by the end of it, but go ahead.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Enough to kill a small elephant. Or a huge one.
I was gonna say a small elephant. I say a whole herd of them,
Yeah. A lot of these people...
Just something to see out there. It's horrible.
I personally would recommend if you're gonna...
Let me give you one more tidbit on the promoter side.
Okay.
I also look at it from a fan's perspective. If I would not buy a ticket to see that particular match myself, I will not book it.
Wow, I'm a kind of guy that was sort of iffy when he bought Bloody Mania 8, the DVD, because Necro Butcher and Kong didn't seem like a good match, but then I watched it, and I was actually surprised about just how good it was.
Right.
So,
Like I said, if I would not pay to see it, I'm not gonna book it.
yeah, I guess.
I also hate being approached by guys who want to work for me. I've never heard of them before, and I've never even heard of the person that supposedly trained them. It's like, well, who? I was like, oh, okay, so person A, person B trained person A. Well, who trained person B?
Person C.
That's the other thing. Yeah, and somebody else I've never heard of. It's like, so a whole chain of people haven't received legitimate wrestling training and are in here trying to convince me to pay them money when they're not worth a nickel.
Yeah, that's something that happens all too often. I've been approached by people that have claimed to be big people overseas and want to come on the show and whatnot. This was back when I was first talking about it and toying with the idea of it. And even the towns were made up. Some of the one of the actually only two people have approached me, and even the towns they told me they were from were made up. One of the persons said he was from the same state as I am, Michigan. I'm like, okay, what town? He said, Steedville.
Huh?
Steedville, the actual town this dude came up with. Steedville.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was. I knew it was bullshit. He's like, it's in the UP. I know all the towns in Michigan, most of them anyway, and I've never heard of that place. And he's like, oh well.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. You know, the lengths people go to try to squeeze a booking. And,
Yeah.
And honestly,
Not even booking a
they've
talk
got no,
show.
they've got no business doing it. You know.
Yeah. And some people would say, oh, maybe Wisconsin, because Wisconsin's close to Michigan. Nope. Maybe Canada. Nope. Maybe Ohio. Nope. I even double checked. Nothing. No such place. Completely made up. And to the people that try to defend this, my palm is dangerously close to my face. Wow, so my thing only has a couple more minutes of video recording. So, you got anything else you would like to say?
No, just all you guys and girls out there, you know, take care of yourselves and take care of each other.
Okay, I would like to thank
all I
you
can say.
for coming on the show, the first edition.
Absolutely, Cody. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how to approach anybody, but I'm satisfied with how this turned out, and I am very, very happy that you agreed to come on.
Oh, it was my pleasure, and if I can be of any assistance in the future, feel free to let me know.
I will. And to the people watching this, check out his promotion. I'll give you a few minutes here to say anything you wanted to them.
So, like I said, check out Stranglehold Wrestling on Facebook. That's the best way to find us.
Yeah, any Twitter, YouTube?
Nope, that's it for now.
Okay. And, to the people watching this, thanks for watching. Give the page a like if you're watching this from some group I shared it to. And that's about it. Thank you for coming on. And, thank you people for watching. That's, I guess that's the end of it.